As you know, is just more than marriage. Our fight is also about love. This conference and the legal battles and our fights at home with our families, that's not about our gender identity. It's really not about our sexual orientation, but it's really about our orientation to love. We're not fighting just for marriage rights or travel ban restrictions or blood donation rights. We're fighting instead for the right to love. To love who we choose, how we choose, where we choose, when we choose. We are fighting for love. I started this fight, like many of you perhaps have or are in the midst of doing right now, at home with my family. Isn't it ironic that our fight to love often actually begins with the very people who should, by definition, love us the most? Don't get me wrong, my family supports me now unconditionally, and I'm proud to say I have the best parents and the best siblings in the world. But that doesn't mean that my expression of free love was accepted with open arms. I don't remember ever not liking boys. When I would prance around the neighborhood and, please don't laugh, when I would prance around the neighborhood in Daisy Duke shorts, tight tank top, and cowboy boots, with, get this, with cold hot dogs in my mouth, I didn't know what being gay was. But I did know what the feeling of attraction felt like. And I knew that I never had the natural rise of emotions with the opposite sex. To be clear, because people often misquote advocates like myself, my expressions of freedom and happiness, like wearing cowboy boots and eating hot dogs, are not meant to describe gay behavior. That's a full disclaimer. But because, in my opinion, there absolutely is no such thing as gay LGBT behavior. Which is why this new Android app, Is My Son Gay, is so appalling and diminishing. No, by sharing the story, what I mean to convey is how fluid our orientation to love can actually be. For me, that love orientation, what most people call me being gay, is all about the freedom for me to be myself. Just as me wearing cowboy boots and playing with cars and trucks as a kid were my expressions of who I am, so is my orientation to love. Just another expression of me. Despite pressure to conform to what others wanted me to be, those expressions of love freedom, as I call them, took many forms when I was in your age category. I'm too old to sign up. Quincy shared my age, so, Quincy and Corey did, and I'm actually 29, which is even worse. One of my childhood expressions, when I was your age, in fact, was I had a black Cabbage Patch doll. And his name was Nate, and I love him to death. And once in high school, my friends visiting my home and visiting my room stole Nate and wrote all over his head some disparaging things and paraded him around school, in high school. But ironically, I actually didn't care. I was actually kind of glad that other people were helping me tell the story of who I am. Just as much as cars and trucks were a part of me, so was having a black Cabbage Patch doll, and all of that is an expression of me. Besides, I was also student body president, so that just helped me get name recognition and helped me get more votes. When I was in college, I first experienced true love. And since then, no one has been able to put me in a closet for society's comfort. Despite being a student on a liberal campus, I was occasionally taunted for being openly gay, but I still pressed on. I ran a campaign for student government president, and without campaigning at all, I came within a few hundred votes of winning on a campus of 40,000 students. I established a chapter of the NAACP, and it became one of the most active branches in the history of the association. Oh, and I also finished in 3.5 years. Thank you. I was able to do that because I knew what I wanted to accomplish, and I set out to do it. I made the necessary relationships with professors. I discovered my passion for politics. I interned in Congress. I interned in the mayor's office in my hometown. And as a result of all of that hard work and a clearly executed plan in college, I had a job ready for me when I graduated, and I went on to graduate school at an Ivy League institution 9 months later to pursue a PhD. The point is, I did all of this while being gay. And there was no Noah's Ark. There was no Queer as Folk. I didn't have the benefit of a youth empowerment conference sponsored by an organization founded and operated by people who look like me and who share my values and orientation to love. I had none of that. Once I got to graduate school at Brown in Providence, I resurrected the Black Graduate Student Association. We organized our first regional conference, which is a big deal for grad students, and I was elected president. Oh, and I finished graduate school having written a dissertation in 4 years, when most finished in 6 or more. How did I do that? Well, that means I took 4 classes each semester. I read hundreds of pages nearly every day. I wrote dozens of 30-page plus papers, and I attended every single class. On top of writing a book that we call a dissertation in graduate school. The book is on black mayors, and it's currently under review, so knock on some wood for me, please. Now I have the privilege, thank you. Now I have the privilege of being not only a young professor, but being the only openly gay branch president in the history of the NAACP who was of color.